Hello, this is Shadow Fox Cosplays, and this is my first video on this channel. What I'm doing is Mad Max style Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars. What I mean by Mad Max is this type of Gaslands post-apocalyptic vehicle. Underneath all this armor is a Camaro, and sorry I kind of stuttered there. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos on anything. And so, as you can see here, this is a war rig. That needs to be painted, of course. That'll be done off camera, because I don't want to get my phone covered in paint. And so the vehicles today is this monster truck, which I'm already customizing. As you can see, it's got tank treads on it, as well as some blast armor and another section of tread. And here is a police beach patrol. The paint still needs to be stripped off the body. And I've already added a gun turn emplacement that needs to be glued in better, because this was done quick and dirty, as you can tell by the outrageous amount of super glue in the trunk section that's holding this whole thing on. And then we have a Plymouth Superbird that I've already gotten into, as you can tell by the interior falling out. And yeah, these three vehicles have already been tapped and are just waiting to be paint stripped and have more stuff added onto them. Like this one. While the gun emplacement looks cool, I want to give this thing some armor just to beef it up. So while I was at Hobby Lobby looking for parts to use, I came across, and also for some tools, I also came across this tank, which is a smaller version of a Patton tank from World War II, and possibly the Cold War. And it's got some really nice parts, even though they need to be cleaned up. So these are the wheels for the sponsons of the tank. And this piece here ensures that the turret can still rotate. And then you got the hatches, which will be very useful. And here you got some kind of MRA armor. And then you have the engine piece right here. And then I'm pretty sure these are the sprockets to the tank. I'm not really that well versed in tanks. And then you have this section here, which looks like some kind of muffler system. And when I go and look for model kits to use for parts, I always look at the tanks, because some of them have guns, others have just general aesthetics to them that will be good for Gaslands type vehicles. Oh, and those treads that you saw, they're these. Hold on, let me just get it out. They are rubber tank treads, which paired with Gorilla Glue and accelerant works a treat with sticking to the car. And the way I drill into these vehicles with these rivets is I use a Dremel with a few different bits, which I don't have the other bits right now. I just have this drill bit right here. And then I would use my cutters here to snip parts off other vehicles, or to cut into plastic, or just to free parts from different model kit runners. Then if I need to, for extra cutting, I would use my hobby knife. Or if for some reason the car has screws like this beast does, see, you can see it's got 2 in the tractor and 1 in the trailer, which I am going to undo these screws and break that glue seal again, just so I can take this baby apart and paint it. I bought a screwdriver set from Ross the other day that works really well. And so with that being said, let's get into it with how I made this one. I found a Rally Camaro at Walmart, and just in a random bin, and I bought it, stripped the paint off, opened it up, and then I borrowed some wheels, these rusty looking wheels from a NASA Hot Wheel that was a Land Rover. And then I kept the rear wheels, and then I rusted up the chassis slash I forgot what this is called, but I am calling it a chassis. And then I took the engine from a Roger Dodger Hot Wheel, and then some plastic to act as both armor and spikes. Then I used the other set of wheels from the Hot Wheels NASA Rover for trunk armor, and then the other wheels from the Camaro for side skirt armor. Then I actually did put on some side skirt armor. And then I also cracked open a Matchbox Jurassic Park tour vehicle. I have one here on my desk, and it's this one. It was this one that I cracked open and took the bumper from, because I thought it would give the Camaro a hotter look for a post-apocalyptic world. And then after that, all I did was I primed it black with black primer paint. That was, again, black primer paint, which is primer and paint all in one can. And then I gouged it up and then dirtied it and weathered it. Made it look all gross and rusty. I even painted the side skirt armor and the back armor silver, then dirtied and rusted that up. And yes, the car still rolls. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take either the monster truck, which again has already been tapped, and I kind of glued this section and the monster lights in place already. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to pop the wheels out. And we're going to see what we can do to this, the front section, which I think we can add some runner to, some model kit runner, or maybe some tank treads again, like what you see here where the windshield would be, and here on the sides as well as on the back, which when I think about it, needs another section of track here. So we're gonna take the tank tread that is loose right here, and we're gonna cut a section off and sand off the pikes. Oh, also for added flair, I forgot to show this off when I was listing off what I bought. I went to Walmart and searched for more Hot Wheels, and I found some, which is where this one came from, this monster truck. And I also picked up some chain, which is what you see on the trailer of the War Rig. And yeah, sometimes depending on the size of chain you get for this kind of project, it would be very beneficial to wrap a vehicle in heavy chain. Wrapping a vehicle in heavy chain makes it look like a war party might have slapped together a truck or a car, quick and dirty, just to get it out so they can run it. Alright, so let's see how much we need. Alright, we need about 2 treads. And it's okay if a little bit hangs off, because we're just going to glue it. And for this one, we don't really need to cut off the spikes that help the tank treads roll inside the wheel wells of the wheels. So what we can do, again, this is quick and dirty, is I'm actually going to have these pointing the other direction where these are pointing towards the armor piece. Then I'm going to get a little bit of accelerant right on there, then get the super glue, which I need to get a new bottle. This is already starting to get filthy. And then I'm going to get a big old glob on there and take this and just stick it straight on. Just like that. And there we have armor. Now, it's not even, but that's a good thing, because in the wasteland, nothing is symmetrical. Rarely anything in the wasteland is symmetrical, so remember that when you're doing your own Gaslands vehicle. Now, I've already done more than one of these Gasland type vehicles. My inspiration was a film series that's still going on called Mad Max, because I bought 2 Interceptors, 2 V8 Interceptors, the Pursuit Special that Max drove. And these films inspired me because, one, I love post-apocalyptic films. I love that wasteland genre. And yeah, it's just an easy way to get ideas for your own type of post-apocalyptic vehicle. And so yeah, normally I do custom action figures, cosplay, or props, or even video games, but nah, I just want to focus on this for the time being because it's cheaper and it's a lot more fun. So let's get started with the continuation of this baby, this monster truck. And I am thinking about gluing on some armor here to the wheels. And we can still use the tank treads, just invert them so the wheels that go with this truck don't get tied up. What I mean by that is, oh, one second. Oh, word of advice, if you get accelerant on you, just wipe it off. It's not going to harm you. Luckily, I have some tissues here to help. Normally I use these to weather stuff, but in this case, I'm also using them to clean my hands off. Alright, so we're gonna pop the chassis and the wheels back on. Now we're gonna pop all of this assembly back. Now the wheels are on the wrong way, I can already tell, but that's alright because they're both the same size wheels, so it's not gonna matter. What is gonna matter is how we put on the tank treads. And I kind of want them to be inverted, like that, so the spike strips right here can be seen and used as either climbing spikes or as impaling spikes. So what I'm doing is I'm gauging how many I need again, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. No, it's gonna be different for the front because I'm just going to put some right where the driver would sit. Well, I have 2 rows of 8, one on both sides of the rear axle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, yes, I'm aware rubber doesn't stick that well to metal or plastic, but in a way, I just wanted to use it. Okay, now we're going to switch to this side, and we're going to do the same thing. And it doesn't matter which way you have these set. Alright. Now, I'm going to see how much I need to put here. And I'm actually going to cut away the spikes for this one because I want the driver to be C. So I'm going to use my nippers. And then I'm going to get my sanding bit. Now I'm going to get my Dremel, take out the drill bit, and put in the sanding bit. And sand off the rest of the spikes. Perfect. Now, since I'm going to be using this side up and the side without that I sanded the spikes off of in the down position, this is basically gonna go here, right where the driver is, as I just said. Oh, and once the war rig is all painted and weathered, I will do a video on this. Not how I did it, but not how I did it, I mean not a step-by-step video on how I put it together, but I will tell how I put it together. And this is armored reinforcements. This goes with Max's crew, which is called Renegade Justice. Alright. Sometimes I have to shake my glue bottle. Now flip this inside out. Perfect. And there is a truck decked out in armor. Now we're going to get some plastic, basically plastic sticks. These evergreen scale models polystyrene sticks. We're gonna get one. We're gonna get one because all we need is one for this vehicle. And I feel like gluing some in the trunk to maybe act as like a roll bar. But if I bend this too much, this will snap. So, doing. No, not that. Instead, what I'm gonna do is make a half roll cage for the back by cutting up parts that I need. I recently took apart a truck-like buggy for the roll cage that's inside because I found out it was plastic when I took it apart. And this is how I found out, because the drill bit went straight through my hand. So I'll go get the roll cage section. Here is Max's car, which I tested with the trailer, And it still goes inside perfectly. Alright, here's the roll cage, which I can use. So I'm going to cut right here, and I'm going to not use my Dremel. Instead, I'm going to use my hobby knife because I don't feel like getting my drill bit. I cut right at the elbows. Now I can cut here. Sometimes plastic like this takes a few cuts before you can just break it apart. Alright. Something like that. There. Now what we can do is take this stick, this polystyrene stick, cut it and shave it at the ends to look like spikes. And it doesn't matter what size spikes you want. You can have them all be the same size, or you can have them be different sizes. But for me, I kind of want them to be the same size, so what I'm going to do is put the polystyrene cutoff ends next to the stick, the polystyrene stick, and then I'm going to get my Dremel and do this. There's a spike that will go right there within the roll cage. Fun part about this, it doesn't matter if the glue points are messy because the paint will hide that completely. Just like that. Now, I could put a gun right here. And I do happen to have one from a scrap head buggy that I bought yesterday. It's this right here. It's already been modified so it'll work with any kind of Hot Wheel. Ooh, dropped it. So I'm thinking about either putting it here on the side or here, like what I did with the other gun on the war rig. And looking at it, I'm thinking about putting it on the side. Right there on the fender. So get some glue. That's good enough. Maybe take this cutoff in that I didn't use. We can spread that just a bit. Get the gun and the accelerant, which I use BSI, Bob Smith Industries Instaset, because it works for me. You can use any accelerant you find, it doesn't matter. You don't exactly have to use the stuff I use. This is just stuff I found that works for me. Now, since my fingers got caught in the super glue a little bit, I'm going to put some extra armor there. Just to hide my nasty glue print. And this one I'm keeping the spikes to because there's a piece of tank armor right here on the right passenger side, so it's not gonna matter. There. Truck is completely decked out in wasteland parts. Now we can put it together temporarily because I'm going to paint this beast off camera when it's not recording. And I just broke it. Go figure. I'm not mad though, because I can just fix this. You know what? Let's get this together first. Alright, now do we put on the glue points? Yeah, the accelerant.